I'm a homosexual. I'm a homosexual. I'm a homosexual.
Congratulations, Megan. You have just taken your first step in your true direction.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff. And this week we are informally kicking off our Pride lineup, sort of. Pride month is June. You guys know that. It's still technically May for a few more hours. But we figured with the whole rest of the week being Pride month and with us having a little fifth Tuesday here, which means we get to do any movie we want. You know how it works at this point, hopefully. We thought we'd pick something super, super gay to really just get the ball rolling, get the vibes right, and put us in a great place for our queer horrors down the road. But we started with something a little light, a little romantic, a little fun, something very colorful. So we decided to do 1999's But I'm a Cheerleader.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I mean, I loved when we were introducing it at the end of last week's episode, and Sydney and I discovered that we both watched the movie by chance because it had cheerleader in the title. We both were like, ooh, I want to be a cheerleader, or I am a cheerleader. Like, this movie's clearly for me. And like, it was for us. Maybe not for those reasons, but it was for us.
In more ways than once. Okay, she really loves cheerleading, so
She does. I think, what is it? What step number is it? Like, what's your route, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that this movie could be my gay route, but also my cheerleading route.
Wow. Oh my God.
Like,
really just planting a lot of ideas in there.
You're like, wow, I get to see those butts. Amazing.
The opening sequence, yeah.
I love that opening sequence.
It's
a lot of fun.
So good.
But if you haven't seen the movie, let me give you a little IMDb logline for a second. It reads, a naive teenager is sent to rehab camp when her straight-laced parents and friends suspect her of being a lesbian. And her whole refrain, if you're not familiar, which you should be by now, but also please feel free to just enjoy our conversation, circle back later. It's not really like a big spoilery kind of movie. It's like a lovely, just like feel the waves of like queer joy washing over you. But you know, she thinks she's a cheerleader. She can't be gay. She's a cheerleader, you guys. That's like an all-American pastime. It's a classic. Cheerleaders date jocks. She's doing that. Like, how could she possibly be gay? But you know, one glance at that opening sequence of all of the cheerleaders doing all of their stunts and their skirts flipping up and their bodies moving, it's a compelling narrative right off the top.
Oh, it's very I was very compelled, definitely. I'm also in my orange era, so I really liked that. Too.
Ooh.
Little orange booty short butt moment. Gorgeous. Love
The
it.
orange
10 out of
was
10.
a little bit too close to Tennessee orange, which is revolting to me personally.
I get that. I understand that that's deep-seated for you.
It is. It's not Auburn orange. And it's like even Florida orange would have been fine, but it's too similar to Tennessee orange. And so therefore vile, but I loved it.
Yeah, I really, really loved this movie so much. Watching it a second time, I like went away last weekend. I got home at 8 p.m. and I started this movie at 8:15 after driving for like 6 hours, and I was fucking exhausted. I was like, oh God, I have to pay attention. No, it was amazing. It was a balm to my soul. It rejuvenated me. I didn't feel the sciatica pain in my leg from sitting in the car for so long anymore. I felt gayer every second I was sitting there. It was incredible. It was amazing. It was, I mean, watch this app when you're tired and sad and or exhausted and hungover. It will rejuvenate you 100%. I'm pretty sure it's the natural hangover recovery system. That and a Bloody Mary.
I mean, it helps that it is only 85 minutes.
I know.
I know. It was under a tight 90.
Yeah, I mean it's compact. Not a lot of fat hair, you know what I mean? They're just getting to the point, but also in a way that like never feels rushed, never feels like beating you over the head with it. Like it's a very lovely, lovingly put together film.
Yeah, I had so much fun with it. I watched this really great like behind the scenes video on YouTube, which I linked in the references, where you got to actually like listen to the director speak about the movie, which is always so much fun, especially because this director, Jamie Babbit, really had like quite an incredible vision for this movie. And it was her very first movie, like feature film. Before that, they'd done one
Slay.
huh?
Slay.
Slay. Yes, it is a slay. Before that, she had done one short film actually with Clea DuVall, which I thought was really
Clea?
Clea. I don't know. I've actually never said it out loud, but no, I have. We did faculty. What did I say then? Bring up the archives.
I would assume Clea, but I have made a lot of wrong assumptions in the past.
I was so confident about Clea. Why did I think that? Because it sounds
Well,
edgier
you
than
might be
Clea, and she
right.
gives out an edgy vibe.
You
She
could
gives
be
an edgy
right.
vibe, a hot,
Nina
sexy edgy vibe.
DuVall introducing herself. Is that going to pull up YouTube results?
This is gonna be our new Neve Candle. Neve Candle.
Neve Candle. Remember when I just organically said Neve Candle when I was
Neve
trying to correct
Candle.
Chelsea? God fucking damn it.
Actually, Neve Candle.
I love Neve Candle, but I
I
love
love her work.
I feel like it's Clea. Why do I think it's Clea?
It's
God.
I don't know if you guys looked it up, but I just looked it up and it's Clea.
Fuck. Okay, well, whatever. It's Clea.
It's fine.
Clea DuVall. It's
We're doing your best
fine.
at
We're
all
so good
times.
at names.
It's okay. I'm glad we established this in the first 5, so
Yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
do
yeah.
what we did
Get it
from
out
the
of the
fucking
way.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space where we said Chiodo brothers or some shit. When
I
it was
said it right at
Chiodo
one
brothers.
point, one
yeah,
singular
at the
time.
very
Yeah.
end. I was like editing the videos and I was like, fuck, we said it wrong. Fuck, we said it wrong. We didn't even say the letters that are in the name.
Out of the couple, mix it up a little. I think it's charming, maybe.
Super charming. And nobody on the internet was mean to us about it. So yet that still exists on the internet. Anything
They
can happen.
also think it's charming, probably.
Yeah, they're like, that's so cute and adorable.
They're like, oh, these
and...
girls. That's some girly pop behavior right there, okay?
Well,
Classic,
whatever. Her
classic,
name's
classic.
Clea DuVall, and I'm sorry, Clea, that I disrespected your name because you're a beautiful angel and you made me feel intensely yesterday when I watched this. But anyway, she was in the short film that Jamie Babbit first did, and that's how she got Clea in this movie because they were homies already from that. And then Natasha Lyonne got into this movie because she was friends with Clea and she was in Clea's car and she found the script in the car and she read the script and she was like, oh, this is cool. And so that's like how those two were cast, through having amazing friends.
It's all about who you know, baby.
I know. Reading about this movie though, I did find out that Natasha Lyonne is not gay, and that was disappointing.
Oh, we all
so,
have to learn it at
know.
some point or another. Yeah,
I didn't know. I don't know how I didn't know that because I've Googled her so many times before, but I didn't look up Natasha Lyonne gay that time, I guess, which I did this time.
I think there is a quote though where she like talks about how she's straight, but she has slept with a bunch of women.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
like, I'm
She's
not
like-
gay, but it's not for want of trying. Like I gave
Yeah.
it my best shot, you guys.
She's like, I do have some taste. Thank you very much. Like,
Oh yeah, I saw that quote too, and I was like, good, good, good. She gave it the old what
college
is it?
try.
College
Yeah.
try. Thank you. Oh my god. But yeah, another thing I read about this movie, like, and particularly the opening, is they set up really early on with this opening scene that this is like sort of Jamie trying to feminize camp, because camp in and of itself is kind of like seen in like a gay man viewpoint a lot of the time, which I hadn't really thought about, but yeah, that's true. Like they are the most popular people in the LGBTQ community. I don't know, the most like
The more,
there's-
they're like the poster child.
exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So they're
They're the
poster
face.
child for being gay. That's why we just say gay, you know what I mean?
Even though lesbians are the first letter.
Yeah.
I don't think it was originally, but also I don't know if what I read was somebody doing lies on Tumblr or whatever, or if it was like real queer history. And it could really go either way with Tumblr. So
Yeah, it really could.
Well, and we all know that the B stands for Babadook,
Babadook.
queer
That's
icon.
true.
Babadook.
Yeah, erase us bisexuals. We're Babadooks now.
We're Babadooks now. So sorry.
No, but yeah, they're trying to put like camp in like the feminine lens, and I wish I'd read this article before watching the movie instead of after, so I can just try to piece it together. But like that opening sequence is like sort of like almost American Pie-esque. It's like these zoom ins on the boobies in the top and the booties while they spin all around and blah blah blah. But you realize they're all from our girl Megan's perspective. And it's like her through her eyes, and so that sets up the tone.
Well, because here's the thing. You know, sometimes I am no better than a man when it comes to. Sometimes I'm not, and I will admit that.
And
I
I've
can
seen
admit that too.
queer female comedians talking about having sort of like not a late in life gay realization, but like when it doesn't hit you until you're in your 20s maybe or your 30s. And so like you were maybe not aware of whatever you were doing before, but now it's like you're a decade behind all the teen boys who've had a lot of practice learning not to just stare at boobs constantly. And
so hard.
instead you're like getting caught all the time or catching yourself all the time just like ogling. And you have to be like, no, like, be respectful. I've definitely found myself falling into such traps. You know, it's hard out here. It's a learned skill to be appreciative but discreet and respectful. It's a talent that requires a little work.
Enjoy the female form when you enjoy the female form, but respectfully, ladies, respectfully.
Well, and sometimes you can be too respectful where people just have no idea.
I know.
They're
Yeah,
just like,
that's what
oh,
I-
just look at this nice lady.
That's what I usually do. Like I go to Jumbo's clown room and then I go to the bathroom and there's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in lingerie, like laying across the vanity. And I walk in and I'm like, I really like your outfit. And then I go to the bathroom and I close the door. Like,
And then I
that-
immediately start peeing.
I immediately start peeing. You know, we're figuring it out. But yeah, I mean, this movie, it just I didn't realize how like gorgeous it was just visually. I didn't remember because it's been so long since I first saw it, but it's so like immaculately stylized. Like I love how Natasha Lyonne's character Megan like is this like little 50s baby girl. Like she's in this like 50s, like she's in like the classic like feminine conservative outfits that they're trying to like train her to want to be in when she gets to True Directions. I think it's so funny because like obviously she is gay, but she has no idea yet. And so they kind of like kickstart the whole thing for her by forcing her into this conversion camp. Like it probably would have taken her like through college to figure it out. So the parents kind of shot themselves in the foot here.
I love that they do mention, they're like, oh, you're 17. Thank God we got you before you went to college with all the liberals. It's so hard to get
liberal
them
arts
after.
brainwashing.
Yes. No, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
That
I
would've-
think that was something that, and I read a couple of articles. Well, I skimmed them for the most part because there were too many that I wanted to read in the time that I had allotted. But Jamie Babbit, the director, talks in one of them about how that was kind of something that she struggled with in her own life, was like the confusing dichotomy between like being very feminine and like being really interested in like traditionally feminine things and not knowing how to reconcile that to a degree with like her identity as a lesbian, and how that was so often portrayed or stereotyped as like very butch, very masculine, very like sort of gender non-conforming in many ways. And she was like, I don't really know how I can be both. And she wanted to examine that and be like, see, it's not like an obstacle, it's not a barrier. Like whatever your gender presentation is, what you're interested in, like in terms of fashion and style, that actually doesn't have to have anything to do with your sexuality at all.
Totally. No, yeah, I really one relate to that as a very feminine presenting person. But like also it's we have to remember this came out in 1999, you know? So it was like early
So ahead.
days.
This
Yeah.
movie's so ahead of its time that I cannot believe that it exists.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
literally
super true.
cannot believe that this movie was made in like the late 90s. If this movie was made today, would absolutely make sense. 100% be like, "Ah, yes, this movie incredible, groundbreaking." But the fact that it was made in 1999,
Yeah, they were
I
like
mean, they hated it in
having
1999.
Oh, they
but
fucking
still,
hated it.
but the
But they
fact that it
made
was
it.
even
It was
made,
Yeah.
greenlit. Yeah. No, I mean, they did totally fucking hate it. They also like put all these barriers to try to get it so people couldn't see it. You know, this was given an NC-17 rating at first.
Yeah.
NC-17. And Jamie was
Insane.
like, this is a fucking G-rated movie. I don't think it should be PG at least, but it should be PG. But whatever. G was the thing at the time.
PG-13.
Yeah, they didn't have I don't think they had the other ones. They had like it's either for kids or it's a pornography, apparently. I don't know. But she had to like talk to the lady at the I don't know, Ratings Bureau of America. I made that up. And be like, why? And she was like, well, in the parts where they're intimate, it's so dark. I know that they're doing horrible things underneath there. This is a quote. And
So you're
Jamie
mad
was
that
Okay.
I
like,
didn't
no.
show sex?
No,
You're
wait,
mad?
wait.
Yeah.
Jamie was like, no, I just made it dark because there's nothing going on under there. Let me send you the clip lightened up so you can see that. So she sent her the clip with it all brightened up. And she was like, okay, fine. And then she was like, okay, I'll give you the rating you want, but you have to take out all of the references to women going down on women. And so she did it. She took out
Boo.
all of those. They didn't make them take out all of the dudes sucking
Cocksucker
each other's
jokes?
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't make her take those out, but they made her take out all of the lesbian cunnilingus references.
That's so
I would have loved
interesting.
to
More-
see, but
More cunnilingus in movies.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
that's so interesting because it's also such a penetrative view of sex still. Like, the only jokes that we really get like that for the women is that moment where they're vacuuming and doing the like in and out and in and out. And
Yeah.
like, that's the only time they even really reference that at all and get that same kind of caliber joke for women, which, you know, is just a little extra homophobia sprinkled in, I guess.
No.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gotta fight against the man. Sometimes you gotta work with the man a little bit to do that.
To at least get it to the eyes that she wanted to see, because she really wanted teens to see this movie and feel like they could find a way to be themselves. So that's
And they needed
super
to.
important. Yeah.
Elliot Page said that this movie was very central to discovering and developing his queer identity. So
Oh, we love Elliot.
Again,
So cute.
I stand by this movie is one of the like top 10 reasons why there's so many queer millennials.
we all just
So-
were watching it on our parents', I don't know, premium cable subscriptions. That's what I was doing at least.
I
I
could
was
have
just
had
like scrolling.
I could have way more fun in high school if I had figured my shit out like 4 years earlier. I wish I had watched this as a youth, but I watched all these fucking great things way after I had already figured my shit out. I was just like, oh yeah, I need to read up on my gay history. This is an iconic one. Also I can't ignore this because she's only in it for 5 seconds, but baby Michelle Williams.
Yeah,
is such a little
Michelle Williams!
cutie. She's so
I was like,
cute,
no
little
way,
cherub.
that's Michelle Williams. And then I looked at IMDb and I was like, that is in fact Michelle Williams.
So
I had to do
funny.
a double take for that. I was like, is that
It sure
It
was.
looks just
Michelle?
like her, but she's got their little like cherub baby cheeks. She's so
and
cute.
she's got a weird ass haircut in this movie, I will say.
Ugh,
It's
yeah,
like a bowl
that
cut.
was a kind of a weird thing that was
It's a
in
little
at that
gay of
time
her.
ish. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, I do all of the parts with her and Jared, her boyfriend. Oh my
Oh my
god, making out
God.
like that. That was so fucking disgusting. In no world would anyone want the tongue in there that long. I don't think.
I was gonna say, she's like, maybe he's doing it wrong. And I was like, he is. He is
He
doing
is.
it wrong.
He
But
is doing it wrong, but also you're gay.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, like, there
can
can
be
just
both.
be joy and pleasure in kissing, even if you're not attracted to the person that you're kissing. But that kissing in particular was not gonna be doing anything for her. And the
Nothing
fact
is
that
worse
the
than a
only time
bad
she
kisser.
even got into it was when she was like, okay, think of boobs and
Butts,
sports
boobs,
bras. Think about
boobs, butts.
spankies. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I really like the parents in this too. The actors who play them are really, really funny. Mink Stoll is the name of the mom. That's like fucking
Oh my
she's
God.
like an icon too, right? I don't
Incredible
know other stuff
name.
she's been in, but Mink Stoll is her name. Like a mink stole. A
Icon.
stole is
Icon.
like a scarf made of fur, and a mink is a mink, and a mink stole is a thing, and that's her
Yeah, I was
name.
gonna say that sounds
A
like a
mink
drag
stole.
name. Oh well,
I don't
she
know.
worked with John Waters, and her original name was Nancy Stoll. So I'm sure it does have drag influences.
Yeah. And Bud courts the dad, Peter, and he was perfectly bumbling in this. I really liked him too, and I liked his big giant glasses.
They were
And
so good in this.
They're so good. And like RuPaul, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
fucking Paul.
Also,
RuPaul.
so we've already done a movie with Clea in it, and the actress who plays Mary is Kerrigan from Casper.
Yes. Kathy Moriarty. How do you say that? I can't do it.
That's why I was like,
Moriarty.
I'm not even attempting
My
it.
mouth. It feels like my mouth goes numb in the middle of that word.
Yeah, you're just not hitting that
Moriarty.
T.
Moriarty. Anyway, that's
One
it.
more.
That's all. Moriarty. It's hard. It's super hard.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
she's great in this.
she's so good. Oh my god, everyone is so
And-
perfectly cast. This entire cast.
Here's the thing. This is fun little pop culture moment. So Vanderpump Rules, right? Started
Mhm.
with Sheena Shea. And Sheena Shea was working at Lisa Vanderpump's other restaurant that I don't remember, like the nicer, more expensive one, Villa Blanca, or is that?
That sounds right.
Like, I think. Lisa Vanderpump on Real Housewives, Beverly Hills. Right? Are you following me? Sheena Shea
barely,
worked,
barely.
Sheena Shea worked for Lisa Vanderpump at her other restaurant.
Okay.
Who else is on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills but Brandy
Carlisle. No.
Granville.
Glanville. Yeah.
Brandy Glanville was married to Eddie Cibrian, who is Rock in this movie.
Oh,
also-
Isaac, where's this going?
Hold on.
Who's
so
Rock is
the-
the son is
Yes.
okay.
And so the reason we have Vanderpump Rules is because Sheena was having an affair with Eddie, and it was like this big drama, and Bravo was like, these young kids are super messy. We should give them their own show. And so that's how we have Vanderpump Rules. And also,
I didn't understand like 90% of that, but his influence.
It was a spin-off of one of the Real Housewives shows, is what you're saying.
Yes, because
I thought
Sheena
he
was
had an
having
affair
this
with Leanne Rhymes.
I mean, he also did that too, but
That's
they
big
broke
drama.
up after
I
that.
remember
That was
that.
big drama. But so like Sheena was having basically Eddie's
Was
little
that pre or
hoe.
post Leanne? Did you cheat on
Pre,
Leanne?
I think.
Okay, thank God. Sorry, Brandy.
And
Eddie is a little hoe. Look at him in
little
those shorts,
hoe.
Didn't
So,
Brandy?
we have Scandival thanks to this. I'm just saying.
Wow. His influence. I didn't understand anything you said, but I respect that. I never was going to
Somebody who
understand.
Well, but
listens
also
will respect
Sure.
They
the
will.
pop color
I
culture history
respect it.
lesson that
I
I
just-
just provided.
I
I
just
have
feel
zero background knowledge at
Yeah.
all.
Well, here's a little more fun color for that. Is that Brandy Glanville was the housewife who said that she was hooking up with one of the other housewives, if you'll recall. And the other housewife was Denise Richards, but
yeah.
she said it never happened. But Denise Richards is very sexy in many movies, including a movie that we did on this podcast, Valentine, in which I was super hot for
Greatest
her.
film of all time.
So
All goes back to just being hot and sexy.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know the truth. I don't know the drama. I don't want to spread any lies. I can only repeat news stories, and it was news.
That's
So
news.
It was news.
That's news.
News.
It's culture.
Okay,
And it's culture, babe. We are historians.
we are historians. We are film critics. So everything we say is now true. And it was probably before. I trust you.
It probably was before. Yeah.
Well, okay. Something that is true is that Melanie Linsky is the best person, and I'm obsessed with her. But
she does a great fake Australian accent all
it's
throughout
not
this
fake.
movie.
That's
It's
her real accent.
That's her real accent.
Really?
The American
Yes.
accent is fake.
I just was at I
Wow.
was just at the premiere for Yellow Jackets season 2. Flex on him. And she was talking in the interview, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I fucking forgot." And I was reminded again because the behind the scenes thing. She was talking about the role and blah blah blah. Does it feel like to you guys they cut part of her shit out of this movie? Because I feel like she's like in it and she's great, and then like she disappears, and I loved her character. I wanted more from her. Maybe it was just a smaller role.
It's interesting because apparently, per IMDb trivia, Melanie Linsky was Jamie Babbitt's first choice to play Hillary. After she saw Melanie Linsky in another seminal gay role, Heavenly Creatures.
I haven't seen that.
It was with Kate Winslet. Based on a true crime story. And it's gay. Anyway,
wow.
But the director saw her in that and like wanted her to be in this movie. She also saw her in Ever After, Cinderella Story. But they brought her in, and yeah, I mean, it feels a little like she's being underutilized here. But in one interview with the director, she was saying for the 20th anniversary edition, she went back and she added like a few minutes into the runtime, but only like 5 minutes total. So I really don't know if there was anything intended that didn't make the cut, or just like
yeah,
that wasn't
I know
the
what they
focus.
added in. I'll say it later. Keep going.
Okay. No, that was really all I had to say. But yeah, okay. I mean, it definitely seems like there are some characters that kind of just disappear off screen. I mean, Jan just kind of walks out and never comes back at one point.
Well, she leaves. No, she leaves. That was her leaving the program.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I agree. But like Dolph, for example, left and we see him again. I guess Andre we never see again, but they're you know, their numbers are so whittled by the end. Yeah, I'm just saying like there are a lot of characters who kind of just fade away a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they had to focus on the romance of it all, and I'm not mad about that at all.
Only 85 minutes. We didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
No, we needed more time. Well, in the 20th anniversary version, they brought back this fun stuff. Because part of the inspiration. No, I don't know if they brought back the cunnilingus jokes. Honestly, those were two different articles, so they didn't reference them. But the director Jamie, she was inspired to do part of this movie by the fact that her mom did like a youth rehab. She like ran a youth rehab program, and so she was in the car one time listening to Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell, and she listened to the words and she was like, what? Those are the words? Because she instead knew the version that her mom sang that was like, I've looked at drugs from both sides now, and I find like something, and I really don't like drugs at all. Like those were the lyrics that she thought were the actual lyrics to that song, which is the interesting perspective to have. But there was this whole scene in the movie where they did the same thing, where like you get to see Megan do her like straight cheer that she was working on, because we never get to see her do her straight cheer. So she does her straight cheer, and then they turn it into like a campfire song, and they all sing this song that's like, God is good, God is straight. Anyway, it's linked in the references.
Well, I can't wait to check it out.
Oh,
I'd like to see that scene.
It's really, really short. And then there's another one where it's Megan and she's watching like a Scared Straight video, but different. And it's like this woman and she is presenting hella fucking gay. And then like after the program, she got married. And it shows her kissing this guy. And it's like the most like sexless kiss anyone has ever seen. And then it zooms in on her smiling face. That's all I saw. But it's, I don't know. They cut the right things. It's still perfect. But back to the cast really quickly. I forgot that fucking Dante Basco is in this and that he plays Will. Fucking Rufio. God.
And also,
I feel such emotion when I see his face. I was bursting into tears just looking at him. Oh.
And don't forget, he was also the voice actor for Zuko in Avatar.
That's what it is. That's also what it is. Fuck. Oh my
know.
God.
Played a teenager in a really long time. He's also in another Fifth Tuesday that we're gonna do at some point. Take the Lead. That one's a great film. We'll circle back. We're gonna love it, Monica.
This is the first time I've heard this. And
I have talked about this before, but maybe not the title because it's got a throuple thing in it, and it's also got Paige Michaelchuck from Degrassi, and it's also got Antonio Banderas. And lots of other things.
Sold.
Anything with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, it's a dance movie.
Okay.
They dance. It's about dancing, ballroom dancing.
I saw it on his page. Oh my God. I mean, but Hook is where he plays Rufio. In case you don't know what we're talking about, I just want to make sure. I want to give a shout out to Hook. If you haven't seen Hook, you should see Hook. You should see Hook. What the fuck? Do it right now. It'll make you cry in a good way. And then obviously Avatar The Last Airbender is the greatest cartoon of all time. It is incredible. And he plays Prince Zuko in it. And it's amazing. Thank you for reminding me of that. Because when I heard his voice, like something stirred inside of my soul. And now I remember why. Okay. Oh,
I mean, there's a lot going on with the cast. Catherine Town Sinead was in What Lies Beneath very briefly, which we talked a little about at the time. There's a lot going on in general, obviously. There's a lot of shared stuff here. But it's just, everybody is doing an incredible job. I would say RuPaul and Kathy Moriarty are delivering some of the shining performances because they're so good at giving I'm committed to this cause, but obviously I'm still very gay. And like I'm choosing to be here and I'm choosing to commit to this and I am a leader in this field, but also a girl is who a girl is. I'm sitting here being like, oh, you can't be thinking that way about ladies with their long legs and supple bodies and their beautiful hair, their full lips. Like I just think they were having so much fun with their roles and they absolutely delivered on exactly what that role needed, which was barely contained queerdom, just like ready to burst out at any given moment.
Oh yeah. I mean, Mike was bursting. RuPaul was bursting. But I don't know. I forgot also how compelling the love story is in this movie for me. It's just because I'm in love with Clea DuVall.
It's just so sweet.
It's so sweet. And it's also so sad. It was interesting listening to that behind the scenes thing that I was talking about because they were talking about at the time how difficult of a time it was to be a queer person. Obviously, it was 1999, but there's something going on with churches being dicks back then too. That was in the news, so that made that extra topical. And also, something that was really interesting, Clea was not out yet when this movie came out.
Yeah, I mean, Clea didn't come out publicly until like 17 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, she came out in 2016. She was fucking terrified at this time. I mean, she'd already been like sort of not pigeonholed, but like pegged in those sort of roles. Faculty was before this, right?
I think so. It was like 98, right?
Yeah, it's like 97, 98, and they make the jokes there and that sort of a thing. And then she started getting all these offers for like more queer roles after this movie, and she was like terrified to take them because she didn't want, she wasn't ready to do that, It's terrifying. Sure. It's super crazy.
Everybody's gotta go at their own pace, especially when you're talking about it with the whole ass fucking world and not just your close friends and loved ones who she was out to. But like it's different when you're on a stage. And even in like this day and age, sometimes it can be intimidating to talk about that in a public, on the record kind of way.
Well, yeah. I mean, look what's happening to poor Dylan Mulvaney. This poor girlie is getting fucking like attacked on all sides just for living her life. So it's just all the things that they're going through then, like, I feel like are like rearing their ugly head again now. Not that it necessarily stopped, but it felt like we were in like a beautiful euphoria period for a few years, and it feels like we're not in that time anymore. It's actually the bad time. We're in the bad timeline. But another thing too, when this movie came out, it was like right on the heels of the AIDS epidemic. You know, this is the late '90s. It's people always think about it as something that was going on in the '80s, but people were still dying all the time in the '90s too. So I think that's another reason why this got like really fucking bad reviews, from like mean reviews from critics, because they were like, how can you like make light of these topics? And it's just like, you have to laugh, otherwise you're gonna fucking cry. So like, you can have a little laugh as well with serious subject matter. Like, obviously conversion camp is no joke, but it was very funny in this. It's just interesting how it all comes back around.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the director talked about how she specifically wanted to do a comedy because there hadn't been as much of that in that space in queer cinema. A lot of lesbian cinema famously historically does not have many happy endings where both of them live, you know what I mean?
Everybody
like,
dies.
Kill your gays.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen that in a lot of horror movies obviously are more predisposed to have characters dying.
Shockingly, people die in horror movies.
Crazy. But we see that like a lot even in horror too, like with Carmilla and stuff like that, you know what I mean? The blood spattered bride. That was not exactly a happy ending. And it is just, you know, I was recently researching queer cinema, and there's so much I haven't seen, and so I will not pretend to be an expert, but like the simple romances that are just like little romances are kind of few and far between. There was like Desert Hearts, which came out in the 80s, and people kind of thought at the time that was going to like spark a wave of more not traditional queer cinema, but queer cinema that was sort of allowed to just show like human stories instead of like having to be so like, isn't it hard to be gay? And you know, that just didn't really follow on those paths afterwards, and it took a while for queer cinema, especially queer cinema for women, to really like start putting out like iconic stories again that would get talked about, even if they weren't talked about at the time, even if they weren't well received at the time. At least like we've now developed sort of a pantheon at this point, but they were spare for a while.
Well, Jamie Babbit's whole thing going into this is she wanted to make a gay Clueless, just something fun, you know. I mean, obviously,
deserve to have,
which we deserve to have, and I think she succeeded in that sort of a fun, silly vibe. Yeah, like, just like, let us, that's why people went like buck wild for Love, Simon and shit, you know. It's just like, oh, it's like a cute little YA gay. Why do you think I read gay YA all the time? It's happy and everyone's gay and they're in high school, whatever. I have to deal with that fact. It's annoying.
Gay YA.
But I live for that shit. Like, give me a fucking happy ending. I will read Red, White, and Royal Blue 1,000 times. But yeah. Anyway,
I mean, I just think it's like you said, it is dealing with literally conversion therapy, which in a different movie could be horrifying and scary and bad and terrible and a miserable experience to watch. And this movie really focuses on like, okay, yeah, they are at conversion therapy, and multiple characters have parents threatening to disown them if they don't come back straight. But they're still just like there finding moments to flirt with each other, finding like joy and connection with each other, even when it's not a romance, even if it's just like queer connection when they're sitting with each other. Like Dante and Megan is one of my favorite relationships in the movie, because that could have been completely different. I mean, she like busts him, she gets him kicked out in a way. That could have
Dolph,
been like
sorry.
a very I don't know what I said. But
You
I'm
said
sure
his real name, and then I was like,
oh.
"Who's Dante?" And then I understood, and so I said out
Yeah.
loud. Sorry,
No,
continue.
it was helpful for me because now we're on the same page. But yeah, I mean that could have been a really contentious relationship between them after
Yeah,
that,
she
and it is
fucking
so
narked.
special to me that he's like, I get it, you know, it's a weird situation. I'm just glad to be out and have somewhere to be. I'm glad you're out and you have somewhere to be. Like, I'm glad we can be together and like go to the gay club together and just like hang out and have a fucking buddy.
I loved that whole part of the movie where there's the couple who has like the anti
Larry and
what is it?
Lloyd.
Yeah.
Mary and Lloyd. I couldn't remember their name. Larry and Lloyd. Yeah. That they like had gone through the conversion therapy and like wanted to present like another option. Like that's just so amazing. And there are people like that all the time in the gay community who are like, I'm here to like be your pseudo mother, your pseudo father, to pseudo family, and like raise you better than they were doing it, you know? And I
mean,
think
there's
that
a reason that some of the queer signifiers are talking about like being in the family.
yeah. No, the idea of like what is it? Found family? Why
family.
can't
Yeah.
Okay, it is found family. Okay, why I didn't say it didn't sound right for what
Believe in yourself, Monica.
Thank you so much. You guys are my found family. Nope, but it's like a really powerful
You took
concept
it back
you can
so fast.
I didn't mean no. You are my found family, but I was saying no. I'm going to talk.
You're saying
about
anyway.
the movie.
Okay, sorry. Let me
Anyway,
not
not
interrupt.
you.
Anyway, that's what I meant to say. Anyway, I don't know. In this movie, the stakes are so high for so many of these kids. Like Dolph in particular, I think you can't really tell who's saying what unless you are good at remembering which voice was saying what. Because when you can hear Kathy Moriarty, what's her real name's Mary. You can hear Mary like interviewing Dolph and whoever the fuck that other guy is, trying to figure out like who started the kissing so that person would get kicked out. Okay. Clayton. And the one of them says like, if I don't graduate from here, they're gonna send me to the war. I think it was Dolph saying that they're gonna make him go join the. Oh, it's Clayton,
and I think that's why Dolph takes the rap, because I it kind of seemed in that scene that Clayton really was being put in a position as the one who was going to get tossed, and he did have to end up going in the doghouse,
for a
but
week. Jesus,
I know, geez. And then when he comes out, he's so like dirty. When he rejoins everybody else, he's just got like dirt smudged all over him.
Yeah.
But that's I felt like that was kind of why Dolph said that it was him and whatever we didn't see. And then when we see him later and he's talking about it with Megan, he's like, if he can't take a stand, like that's on him. But you have to be who you are, and like if that's his wrong choice to make, like he's gonna make it.
Well, that's a
yeah.
thing that comes up a ton in like queer relationships too. Some people aren't like I saw it as like an allegory of like one person in a relationship isn't ready to be out yet.
Yeah.
And like another person is, you know? And it's the same thing for Megan and Graham, you know. That doesn't come at the same time for people sometimes. So that's another obstacle. But I mean, what I was saying was that the stakes were really high. Like Graham's about to get disowned by her dick ass dad and bitch ass stepmom. And she won't be able to go to college, won't be able to do all of these things that she wants to do if like she doesn't turn into a straight person. Psychotic. Mink Stoll, aka Megan's mom, is like, there's no place for you back at home. Very casually, by the way. For Megan, if she doesn't go through this graduation. Like the stakes are super, super high for these kids to like basically just like learn how to become great actors. Like is this just like an acting class on how to act straight and deny who you really are? It's intense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is like in a way, kind of a beautiful part of the film is that even though it's about gay conversion, it really emphasizes and underlines the point that, like, you're gonna be who you are no matter what. There are different ways you can choose to live your life, and there are sacrifices that you might choose to make. Like, if you want to have your family in your life, you might have to sacrifice having the romance that you want, or being able to be accepted for who you are. If you want to be who you are and you want to grab those moments of happiness, like, you might lose people that you care about who can't understand it. But ultimately, who you are is always going to be who you are, and you just kind of have to figure out what's important to you from there. But you can't change yourself. You have to just figure out what's important to you. And I really liked that Larry and Lloyd and everyone was kind of like, nobody said like you're bad and you're wrong if you go back to true directions, and nobody said like you're terrible and the worst, and if you can't like figure your shit out. It's just kind of like everybody's on their own path. And like, for some people, the idea of having to pretend for the whole rest of your life is just untenable. And you know, but it's your choice to make. I don't know. I appreciated that they were like, gay conversion therapy does not work. But also everyone's on their own journey a little bit.
What's that saying where they say, no matter where you run, there you are?
Yeah.
So like, might as well, embrace and accept who you are, bitch. Good, bad, or ugly.
That's like, it's like a more eloquently said what y'all have just said version of what Andre says after he gets kicked out and he doesn't pass, except y'all didn't say shit at the end.
How about this? No matter how far you run, there you are. Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Perfect. Incredible. I can understand it now.
I just also like that it was like not a mean-spirited movie at any point. You know what I mean? Like, you have those few moments with the parents, with their being terrible, Graham's parents in particular. But there's not even like an exaggerated revenge plot against Mary and Mike or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, we don't want to be part of that and we're gonna leave.
Yeah, it's like a very light-hearted movie with a dark content, not dark content, but like, serious subject matter, but they do a really good job of just making you do a little laugh and feel a little romance.
They do touch on it at some moments though that I thought were really interesting. Like, I think this scene where after they've gone to Cocksucker and Mary has found the matchbook under Graham's bed.
What a great bar name, by the way.
Great bar name.
I know.
But when she takes them to go protest outside of Larry and Lloyd's house, and Graham like throws the rock at that one kid when he starts to be like, I saw you last night. Like, that's a hard scene, and it's like could be hard to balance that within the tone of the movie. But they do a really good job of like, like, if you are gonna pretend, but you're also still gonna try and live your own life, like, if you're trying to strike that balance, it's gonna be a really tricky position to put yourself in. You have to really kind of figure out, what are you willing to do? And I think that's kind of a moment for Megan where she realizes, like, well, I definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah. Oh man, I really was moved though by. I just loved the romance in this. It was just so sweet. It was just
The
so
finger
cute. And I think they
touching.
have, yes. Oh my God, that just like really reminded me of just like, remember when hand holding was such a big deal?
Oh,
Do you remember when you would sit next to somebody and you would be like, touch my knee, touch my knee? Like, I'm trying to beam little thoughts into your head, like, touch my fucking knee.
Listen, nothing is like sweeter when you're like sitting next to somebody and you're like, okay, but like, what if our just like legs brush up against each other? Maybe like,
what if part of my body touched part of their body? And what if I left it there and so they stayed touching and it wasn't just a casual brush? And like, how long can I get away with this? And like, are they experiencing this hyper awareness that I'm experiencing? And I don't know. I think those little things they're so delicious.
So delicious and so well done in this. And it's all the more meaningful because they're like, they're supposed to be doing the exact opposite and all of that. So,
It's brave.
It is brave. They're so brave. I love this movie. I had such a good time. I was laughing so much. The costumes were so good. They were so good. The sets were so good.
It is a visual feast, and it is insane to me that that's one of the reasons why some critics didn't like it when it first came out. I mean, obviously those critics were not the target audience. But the fact that people could see this film and like reject the very lovely colors and like the very fun dynamics of being like, yeah, the cleaning room is all turquoise, and like, yeah, the therapy room is all yellow, and like, yeah, the girls' rooms have pink satin bedspreads and stuff. Like, it's so fun. It's so gorgeous. This is a movie very much made by and for gay people. And I just think it shines in a really wonderful way.
Yeah. Oh, also, this is a horror movie podcast, so just a little spooky for you. Like all the like fake flowers and like the hyper perfect like 50s kind of style stuff that Mary was trying to bring to everyone was like inspired by Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, fun.
I love it. And very true and very accurate.
I could see it being like Stepford Wivesy in some ways too. Like, here's how to be the perfect American housewife.
I need to see that shit. Oh my god, yeah. So much of the like sexist shit. You're like, oh, like women, this is what you're going to do: the cooking and the cleaning. Practice with the toothbrush on the grout on the floor. Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, what an absolutely silly little camp in many ways. Boys lie on the ground with their legs spread open, working under cars, and girls do penetrative movements in and out, up and down, as they're vacuuming the floors.
Like, you lube it in and you ram it in there and you go,
we need more oil. Yeah.
My favorite little like thing was when they were where they were like doing the war stuff and you see the guy like holding a bayonet and it clearly just looks like a huge dick.
Yeah, I mean, there's two of them that definitely look like a little blowjob scene for sure.
Oh my god. Also, the fucking Adam and Eve part where they like do simulations of sex.
It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Yeah.
That shit was so nasty. I did love the little beautiful flower over the girlies' vagines.
That part I like within the scope of the movie. And it makes me very concerned about conversion camps in reality. And like, I'd have no idea what's going on there. I don't know that I want to know. I'm kind of glad I don't. I did try to look it up a little to see if there had been like coverage within the context of this movie, and I didn't find anything immediately, at least. But I don't know, that shit like makes me mad, because there's so much current conversation about like grooming and what's appropriate and like indoctrinating children into the LGBTQ blah blah blah. But I don't know, it very much feels like that is kind of what they want to do, is like they want to be putting gay kids in these little get-ups and being like, no, be straight, and by the way, here's exactly how you are straight, and here's what straight people do. I don't know, it just feels like they're doing a lot of what they're accusing others of doing, and that makes me really furious.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't know what the reality is of those camps, but that part was horrifying on its face. Also, it's just like so sad too, just seeing the like mom directly doing the conversion to her son. What's his son's name?
Rock.
The guy who started Rock.
Which, by the way, I also have a cousin named Rock.
Love that.
Mhm.
Love that for you. That's great. That's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
But yeah, she's like, okay, sorry. I thought it was really funny that Mary was like, you can stay under one circumstance if you do the simulation with Rock. Like, sorry. Anyone with a face can tell that Clea DuVall is gay, and you think that she's gonna fucking awake them like the straightness in fucking Rock right now? I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious too.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what her intentions were there. She was enjoying directing that scene a little too much. She was really getting into it, and they both kept being like, okay, literally gross. Like, stop.
Mom, stop.
Yeah, I don't know. What a strange scene.
It's very, very bizarre.
That
But,
could have been
okay.
a moment for Melanie Linsky to shine, though, because we did like most of the time
Yeah.
she's like not included in the fun, and she's like maybe kind of a tattletale. But there is that moment when Megan's wearing the wedding dress and she like brushes up against Jan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, so she had some stuff going on. Why didn't we get a little more from her?
We needed more. We needed more.
We needed more.
And I also really liked Sinead a lot. And she was really trying. She was going to town with her aversion therapy zapper gun. That shit was so.
That
funny.
was not aversion therapy. She introduces
know.
herself by saying, "I like pain." She's masturbating.
Baiting.
Yeah. Well, it was
She's just-
hilarious.
Listen, sometimes a little electric probe on is fun in the moment. You know.
Sure.
She just literally was just staring at Graham zapping
Is that Graham
herself.
Saw?
So,
Yeah.
so ridiculous. But okay, I just have to say that the song in this movie made me feel like I was gonna bawl my eyes out, and it's not on Spotify, and it made me so upset. But it's the song that plays when they have their romantic tryst, Megan and Graham in the doghouse. And also at the end when yay, everything good happens, blah blah blah. We'll get there. But the song is called Tattletale by, I hope this is right. Tattletale by Glass Face Cello Case. Is that the name or the band? I didn't look it up. We don't know. But it is on YouTube for all of you girlies or boys or anyone out there who wants to listen to it and cry. And I put it in the references. It's my new favorite song. It's beautiful angel music.
Yeah, I didn't it didn't stand out to me, so I'll definitely have to go listen to it.
Oh, the music stood out to me so much in this. It was such a good soundtrack. I really, really liked it. But there's not a lot of it on Spotify, unfortunately. There's like 4 or 5 songs in the playlist, but I'm like, there are definitely more than that, but you should check it out.
At least we'll always have the Silk Chiffon music video.
I've been singing that song in my head this entire time.
It's so fun to watch that music video again after watching this so recently, because it's just like they fucking nailed it. Like maybe is it the same house? I don't even know. But if you don't know about the band MUNA, you should have been paying attention the last episode, where we were pretending that we were cool like they are, because we're 3 people who are queer who do things together. But yeah, their song Silk Chiffon with Phoebe Bridgers is based entirely off of this film, and it's literally like, oh, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. Also, Phoebe looks like Kathy Moriarty. I think I said her last name just fine there, by the way.
You did a great job.
Sounded really good.
Yeah,
Thank you so
a little
much.
round of
She's
applause for you.
clapping. It's not coming across on the audio.
Oh,
but
it
she's
didn't?
clapping. No, I'm letting them know. It's still not coming across on the audio.
Damn.
But they're
Okay.
clapping. They're both clapping now. Oh my god,
I clapped so
crying.
hard.
They're standing up. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's a standing ovation.
It's
It's
a
12
standing ovation.
better than anything else that can this year.
It's me doing the Nicole Kidman weird hand clap.
Oh, why did she do that? So unsettling.
Her nails, maybe?
No, it was her fingies.
Yeah, but was she
Oh,
avoiding her
fingers.
nails coming into
I don't
proximity with you?
think
There
so.
didn't a reason come out for that at some point, I thought? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Well, do we want to talk about the end of the film? What else about the film would we like to discuss before we move to segments?
Segmentos?
The end of the film and then the very, very last scene for sure.
Oh yeah.
I thought that the whole plan, I thought that the whole ending, like what they made the girls and boys do, was so fucking crazy. They're wearing these like cupcake dresses, the girls, and like they put Graham's hair into the whatever the fuck that shit was. Oh, poor thing. I felt so bad. Melanie Linsky looked gorgeous though.
She did. She slayed.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
slayed.
it's so funny to me that they're down to literally 4 graduates by the end of the ceremony. No, they're down to like 3 graduates by the end of the ceremony because Graham runs away. But it's so funny to me the way
And
that they...
so does Clayton. Clayton doesn't
Yeah.
even make it down the aisle. He like stands up when his name is called and then he's gone.
But yeah, I love the way that Megan and Dolph dress up, and they borrow some camo from Larry and Lloyd. They're on a mission, you know what I mean? They're taking this shit seriously. But their whole plan is to just kind of like scoop them up and be like, "Do you want to come with me?" And it works really well for Dolph, and it works a little less well at first for Megan, but she's got a backup plan.
I'll
She's
use
got
my
one
love
more
of
thing to
cheer.
try. Yeah, which is like, you know, I
The cheer was so bad.
no, the cheer was great. Why would
No,
you say
the cheer
that?
was bad. That was a bad cheer.
She improvised it on the spot.
No, it was still so
She
bad.
improvised it with the love that she had for Graham and the love that she had for Cheer. But I mean, obviously, it's like a very cute scene. Obviously, it's like fun, silly, light. It's, you know, perfect given the fact that the title is But I'm a Cheerleader, and that's sort of like the central conceit of the movie of like, but how can these two things coexist? But it's also just so sweet because Megan and Graham have that moment where Megan is saying to her, like, what I feel when I'm with you, I have only ever felt one other time, and don't laugh at me, but it's when I'm cheering. Like, that's when I feel happy. That's when I feel excited. That's when I'm like really engaging with an activity. And the only other time I feel that is when I'm with you. And she thinks that Graham is going to make fun of her, and Graham does a little bit, but she's mostly like, I hope I get to see you feeling that way and feeling that happy and like getting to participate in that one day. And so she, you know, Megan knows it's kind of a last ditch effort. She doesn't know for sure if it's going to pay off, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, even if it doesn't work out, like at least I've shown this to you. Like at least I've done this for you, and we'll have this moment. But, you know, it is compelling, and it does win Graham over, thank God. Can you imagine if it didn't? But
I know, and she like
so
runs
sweet.
away without getting her at first because like she's being intimidated by Mary, which I get that she's scary. But yeah, Clea comes running, Graham comes running after her, and they get to have a beautiful euphoric makeout. It's so cute. It's so cute.
Yeah. I love that wasn't the final scene of the movie too. Because there's that scene where it cuts to her parents at a PFLAG meeting. And I love that they, you know, obviously it is brave and empowering to see Megan decide, even if she can't go home, she still feels like she has to embrace being herself, and she's still willing to take that risk and figure things out. But it's also really nice to see that her parents came around in the end, and they're, you know, a lot of parents will, like, they don't get it at first. But there are a lot of people out there who love their kid, even if they're maybe a little homophobic or transphobic. And if you give them some time, sometimes they can figure out how to be there for you, even if they don't understand. Or I mean,
okay,
people mess up, people make mistakes, but I just thought that was a really sweet way to end the film.
It was literally so funny with the dad standing up there being like, my daughter is a homosexual, and then the mom like wrapped up in covers like, oh my God,
she's there but she's not ready yet.
In a room full of other parents of queer children, she's like, don't look at me.
Think Stoll, come on. Yeah, she'll get there. She'll get there, hopefully. Or at least be less of a bitch about it. Yeah, that you're right. I didn't think about it that way. That's a really nice send off. Be like, it doesn't have to be you choose to be yourself or you choose to stay hidden and be with your family. Sometimes you can have it all.
Yeah. I don't know. I just I loved that. And I also just thought it was like a fun moment to end with him saying, like, my daughter's a homosexual. Because it like harkens back to that first moment where they're all introducing themselves. And you can see for some of them when they say, like, I'm a homosexual, it's like hard for them to get through. For some, it's dramatic. For some, it's like kind of empowering to say it out loud and be like, yeah, I fucking am. Like, obviously I'm here, so that's not ideal. But like, yeah, I'm a homosexual. And like that
I'm
whole
here, I'm
emotion.
queer.
Yeah, that whole moment with Natasha Lyonne, her expression is so fascinating in that scene as Megan is like embracing it and realizing it and coming to terms with it in whatever way. Because like at some points she's like a little horrified, and then at other points she's like kind of fucking grinning. You know what I mean? Like even when you haven't wrapped your head around it yet, even when you're not okay with it yet, there is still some joy to be found in like recognizing that you have information about yourself, or like recognizing that there's a name for something that you didn't realize was going on with you. Being able to put a label to something can be really rewarding in a lot of ways, and to really establish it to yourself as like, this is real, this exists, this other people do this. I don't know, I think that's such an interesting scene where you can kind of see like both emotions playing out to some degree.
Yeah. I also love at the beginning where she's like, I thought everybody was thinking these thoughts about women.
I just
thought
thought this
every
was
single
normal.
person just thought
Bitch,
everybody was
is.
super into women. I'm like, it is, girl.
Bitch, it is, girl.
But there's a
Don't
word
worry.
for it. There's a few.
Yeah, that's forever part of the sapphic woman's confusing journey in coming into your queerness, is like, but everybody says that women are so beautiful, and everybody says that everyone's a little attracted to women. That's actually not true. Right. No, there really are straight people out there. It's crazy, I know.
I know, it's insane.
But they really do exist. True. Look at Natasha Lyonne. She tried it. She gave it her best shot. She remains straight nonetheless.
That's fine. I guess.
She's the one.
I know. It's hard. It's hard.
It's hard to believe.
It's hard.
It's confusing when you think that all straight women are also a little attracted to women, and so the fact that you're also maybe a little attracted to women, that doesn't mean anything. All straight women are like that. That is not necessarily true.
In my brain, I'm like, everybody's attracted to everybody. It's fine.
That's certainly how my brain works.
Like, that's like, my brain. I'm like,
these are so beautiful and bisexual.
I'm like put on the earth to like observe the beauty in human form. I feel like
sometimes you guys send sexy guy stuff and you're so thirsty about it, and I just don't see whatever you're seeing. But I'm happy for you that you have it.
Here's the thing:
a wonderful smorgasbord out there.
Yeah, that's the beautiful bisexual brain. You're like, am I normal? And then you're like, oh, women. And you're like, oh, but men. You're like, no, it's completely normal. Everybody has these thoughts.
I'm glad you guys have found community.
It's so great.
That's so great wonderful. For you.
There's people out there for you too, Chelsea. Millions of them.
So many.
I do need more lesbian friends. All my friends are bisexual, so.
I'm sorry that I can't do more for you. You have to talk to Adam about it.
Adam is not a lesbian.
Adam looks like a lesbian, though.
Good enough, I guess.
Adam is rocking some really sexy lesbian hair recently, though. Gotta say.
It looks really good. He's got the 90s heartthrob thing going.
Really sexy lesbian hair. I'm just saying.
In my brain,
with non-binary lesbians.
Yeah, in my brain, when I give a queer makeover to whatever my imagined love interest of the week is, they need to get the 90s heartthrob haircut.
Yeah,
and I think they would look great, but you know, they have to come into it on their own journey.
It's important. Okay, well, are we ready to move into our segments?
I think so.
Here's a question that has no answer. How could this movie be gayer? This is like the gayest movie I've ever seen.
Yes. But in some articles, I can't remember if the director was talking about this or if somebody else was talking about this, but obviously if they were to remake this movie in present day, there would probably be a lot more discussion about gender, which doesn't exist so much in the film beyond being like women and men have their roles.
I think Jan was supposed to be trans coded.
Yeah, and I think that's so interesting because Jan says, I am heterosexual. I do like dick. And I'm actually like very willing to believe that, you know, being attracted to women is not trans issue. It's just that she's very gender non-conforming for what people expect women to look like. I don't know if she's got any other gender realizations coming her way at some point, maybe something she already knows but is not ready to talk about. But in a remake, for sure, that would be something that they would address.
Totally. Yeah, no, I feel like that was as close as they got. I
also feel like Sinead uses she they pronouns for sure.
Oh yeah,
I could see that.
But yeah, that would have been fun. I mean, in a different, like, this movie was unbelievably progressive for what it was when it came out in 1999. It's still pretty progressive, but I think if they redid it in the modern age, they would have a lot more
representation.
Yeah, I think. But they did a pretty good job already for the time, and the fact that like those discussions were already so new in many ways in cinema when they were talking about like the gender binary.
I would love to see what the counselors of True Directions would do with somebody that presents non-binary.
Where would you put them?
You
I mean,
guys
we know where they would put them.
They/them. They/them came out last summer, and it's came out in 2022, and it's about an LGBTQ plus conversion camp. But it's very different than this one. I feel like it'd be a really fun comparison having watched this movie so recently. Yeah. Just saying. It was an interesting one. Because they tackle the gender question in that one a lot more, as you might assume from the name.
Sure. Okay, this is not segment related, but I have a question that has been haunting me that I forgot to ask earlier than now. It's a little controversial. Do you think that the name of the Glee Club, The New Directions, is a reference to True Direction in this movie?
I was also going to say, do you think One Direction is
One Direction for sure? Yeah.
Wow. One Direction, yeah, totally. They're like, we figured out our true direction, and
that's one
male
direction.
homoeroticism while singing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They did make literally all three cheerleaders pretty gay.
Yeah, it probably is.
There's got to be something in there. Let's call up Ryan Murphy. No.
Hello, Ryan Murphy.
I don't.
Hello, Ryan Murphy.
Hello, Ryan Murphy. More 911, please. That's all I have to say to him. Anyway, should we do our next segment?
Yeah. Where would Matthew Lillard fit into this film? Honest to God, I just want him to be one of the boyos.
Right.
So bad, because he would have been like the perfect age to be in this movie.
Mm-hmm. He could have been Rock.
He could have been Rock.
Oh, he could have been Rock.
Yeah, he could have been Rock. He would have been a great Rock.
Just Rock or Clayton, pretty much.
I also think, he's so famous for his tongue work that he would have been a great Jason in the beginning.
Oh my god, Jared.
Oh my
Jared.
God, yes.
He would have been. That's so funny.
The way he loves to stick his tongue out, he really could have led tongue first in those kisses the way that Jared does.
I think though that it would have made it way more clear at the beginning for the audience that Megan is gay, because they would have been like, why is she not into Matthew Lillard? He's so beautiful,
Right?
and perfect in every way. She really must be gay.
She really is a little lesbian, isn't she?
Yep. I think those are 3 really good spots for him. Okay, who's the dumb bitch in this movie?
I guess all of the parents involved.
Yeah, that
Yes.
and not Megan. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Mary.
How
Mary.
dare you?
I would never say that about Megan. I love Megan.
We
Like-
love queer icons named Megan. I'm just saying.
Oh, so true. Wow, it's a canonically gay name.
Megan, the movie was actually a reference to this Megan and But I'm a Cheerleader. So
Honestly,
that's true.
that would track.
That's literally true. I so cue the side by side.
yeah, I mean, I feel like Mary is a scammer, and in many regards we love a scammer, but this particular scam, as aesthetically gorgeous as it is, wins no bonus points. So that's it. I feel
Yeah.
like she knows what the deal is, and these parents are the one paying her money to not even really convert their kids. So and she's just like she's putting a bunch of lesbians in a bedroom together unsupervised for hours at a time, and same with the boys in the other room. And like, yes, we see them sneaking away to make out so that they don't get narked on by anybody, but also there's already many recipes for disaster here.
Yeah.
If you want your gay kids to not be gay, have you considered letting them stay around their straight classmates instead of sending them to make a bunch of new gay friends?
Instead of having them sleep in a room with 4 other gay people who are all hot, like You're
we
setting them
want
up
our
for
children not to
failure
be
here.
gay.
That's
Let's
strategy.
put them around more gay people.
Let's put them in the gayest possible position we can. It's bad strategy.
In cute little gay
dumb
outfits
bitch behavior.
too.
Uh-huh.
Also,
Okay.
I love the house. The house is so queer coded. A
So
beautifully brightly colored Victorian. Every
It's gorgeous.
queer person's dream.
Yep. Truly. Truly. Oh, okay. Well, I think that brings us to our knives out of 5s. So I heard everyone hated this.
Yeah.
How much?
On IMDb, it has a 6.7 out of 10, which, you know, pretty good. I'm sure that evened out over time. I'm sure whenever the initial critiques were rolling in, maybe it looked a little different. You can see the dichotomy a little more in Rotten Tomatoes, where critics gave it in total 42% rotten. So that's pretty bad. And then audiences, on the other hand, gave it 74% fresh. Pretty good.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I mean, there was an interview that the director did where she talked about, you know, the reception it got at the time. And she really kind of writes a lot of it up to the fact that most film and media critics at the time were older white men, and this was not a movie for them. And they just didn't realize that. Or,
This
you know,
was Jennifer's Body before Jennifer's Body.
Maybe
Well, they
they
also
truly
thought that
can
everything
also
should
only
be
be
for them.
themselves, you know, and they can only be like, I didn't like it, and I thought it was weird, and why were there so many gays, and why was it so colorful, and blah, blah, blah.
Or like, my straight eyes can't see all this
Yeah.
color.
I mean, like, go off King Sly, but they were wrong.
Yeah, no, they were wrong. For me, and I'm gonna keep it short, this is a 5 out of 5 movie for me. This is like, it's so good. It's a joy. It's such a joy. It has it's teaching such good lessons at such an important, like at a time where no one was saying this shit. It's just like, I feel so lucky that it exists and I can watch it. And my only complaint is that they really straightened Natasha Lyonne's hair so much, and I just wanted it to fly free and break free
It
from
was
its
very
chains.
straight.
I was like,
It looks
break,
beautiful
break.
though.
It looked beautiful. It was very nicely coiffed, but I was like, I know what's under all of that hairspray, and it's beautiful. That's my only complaint, and it's not a real complaint. So 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. This movie slapped.
Gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just discovered it in middle school, channel surfing or scrolling through whatever and seeing Cheerleader and being like, great movie for me. I am sure I didn't fully appreciate it at the time, but I remember enjoying it. I remember liking it. I remember being in GSA and talking about queer movies and feeling like very braggy that I was like, I've seen that one already. And that felt like a flex to me. So, it
Was.
clearly it didn't necessarily awaken anything because it was still probably, another decade and a half before we really started to reckon with whatever was going on. But started percolating maybe back there. But yeah, I don't know if I've rewatched it since. But I've obviously seen it in a lot of pop culture moments. I think it's just so iconic. I think it made an impression on so many people. I think there's not a lot else that is like it. It kind of stands alone. It's so like not like proudly doing its own thing, but it kind of is, you know what I mean? And I just think I would love to see more like it, but nobody will ever be her. She's that bitch. She's a Five Knives movie, I think.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
Sometimes you're just so iconic that even if you had flaws, like not enough Melanie Linsky, you're still Five Knives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, imagine
if there was
more
two,
Melanie Linsky.
it would be like
it
a
would
7.
be 6 knives, 7,
Yeah.
8.
Be off the
break
charts.
the scale. No, but no one can get over a 5 from Chelsea except for Scream 3.
I mean, that's the perfect movie. Like, what do you want from me?
Exactly.
What more could you want? Okay, so we all know that this is our official kickoff to Pride Month because this movie is gay. And I do believe that. But
It's true.
next week is official Pride, and the anticipation of it all is a movie that I wanted to do for my birthday month and then got bumped. And now we're doing it.
You greenlit that. Okay.
I greenlit it, but the only reason
But she
I
was still
greenlit
sad.
it is I was sad, and the only reason I greenlit it was because I was told we were gonna do it for Pride. They're like, "Don't worry, we'll still do it for Pride," and that is the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yay! Yeah, I mean, another gay classic. It's got horror in the name, so it for sure counts. And we're gonna be joined by a very special guest. You might remember him from Pride last year, our friend Danny. He talked us through A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and he's gonna help us out with Rocky Horror Picture Show this year too. So very excited to have him back. Very excited for him to tell us all about his experiences with the play in person and sprinkle in some of that knowledge as well.
Oh, I'm so excited to do this one. I've gone to so many midnight screenings of this,
Me
and
too.
it's just such a gorgeous, beautiful thing that exists. We are so lucky to live in this timeline, and I am so excited to look at Tim Curry.
Oh my God, Monica, we can post all of the pictures that we did at the last one that we went to.
Oh my God, we looked really hot.
Did.
Wow. Am I gonna dress up for this episode? I think I'm gonna dress up for this episode.
I think we might
have to dress up for this episode. All right, gotta plan my whole Thursday. This is gonna be so fun. I'm so excited to kick off Pride in like one of the biggest ways we could have,
One of the gayest possible ways.
In the gayest possible way.
Yay, go gay, baby.
Oh,
Yay, go gay.
as we always say, yay, go gay. God, now I gotta watch that again too. Got a lot to do. And you've got a lot to do, listener, because you need to write us a 5-star review. Wow, that was seamless. That was pretty good. Here are some things that you could say. You could say yay, go gay. We just brought that up. You could say happy Pride. Why wouldn't you? Come on.
Why wouldn't you?
Pride. Why wouldn't you?
Don't be a
You
hater.
just have
Why
a
wouldn't
wonderful gay
you?
experience listening about this seminal gay classic, But I'm a Cheerleader. Come on. I don't know. Write a soliloquy. Write a note that you copy and pasted from an email that you also sent to Spotify, demanding that they put that song we were talking about onto Spotify so we can listen to it and cry our little gay thoughts out, okay? These are some options. They're really good ones. Why not also follow us on social media? We're at spooky_Tuesday on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I remembered this time. And we're also at Spooky Tuesday Pod on Tumblr and Facebook, and at Spooky Tuesday on Letterboxd. And I just want to say, as I do every day of my life and have always done forever,
She's
you
always
for
done this, guys.
listening. I've always done this every time. Thank you for listening, and see you next Tuesday. Bye, spookies. Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. I won't take no anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to be my mate. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're the one that I adore. 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't run from me, 'cause this is fate.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamra Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamra, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at _the_moon_omg.